Hello, everybody. This is J.W. Najarian with Networking Fools and Fools Media Group, and we're here at Author 101. That's Rick Frischman's Author 101 University in Los Angeles, and we're here with Hyla Molander.
Right, yes.
And I'm glad I got that right.
It's okay if you mess it up.
It's so great having you here. Like I said, we're at Rick Frischman's Author 101. Tell me a little bit about why you like Rick Frischman's Author 101 and why you're here.
Well, I love being here because there are many people who are just extremely knowledgeable in the industry, and people who want to help you through their own experience, and they're further down the line, and they know about publicity, and they know about how to get your writing out, how to get your message out in a way that can benefit others. So that's why I came here. I speak at other conferences that are mainly writing based, also about just workshopping your writing and such. But this is really about, having the writing not just sit in your drawer, but being able to learn the tools to get it out to the world and share your message.
Yeah, it's very complete here. And I know you've been to a lot of these things, but I think he comes up with all the vendors you need to take it from inside your head and get it all the way out to distribution and the whole deal. And I know, let's go back to your book. I know you have a book. You're an author.
I do.
And when I met you, I looked at your book and I said, oh, another book. And I picked it up and it looked interesting. It's a cool size, and you'll see it in a second. It's a cool size, but I opened it up and I was very surprised.
Oh.
Two reasons. First of all, I saw pictures, lots of pictures, and I said, oh, good. This is one of those books I love. Lots of pictures,
That's nice.
But then I saw the writing.
Oh, right.
And it just captured me. The book really captured me. So I wanted you to show it.
Oh, so this is Finding Light, and it's a collection of my images and words, which
I really hold it up here real quick.
Made into. Thank you.
There we go. Okay. Anyway.
And it's a collection of photographs and words. The photographs I actually shot.
There you go.
So you can see, and the whole book is about finding light in your dark times.
Light's getting in it, so a little bit like.
There you go.
There you go.
And
Well, actually, what I liked.
What do you like?
Because I was talking.
The words.
We have the pictures, and there's gorgeous pictures in here that you took, and then right at the bottom of each page, there's these beautiful sayings that you wrote.
Thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're so kind. I actually put together Finding Light in the process of writing my memoir, which is Drop Dead Life. It's a pregnant widow's heartfelt and comic journey through death, birth, and rebirth. So I was widowed 7 years ago. I was very happily married, and my late husband and I were both 29, and it was Easter Sunday, and he literally dropped dead on the kitchen floor. I actually thought he was joking, and then I saw blood down his mouth from where he'd fallen and bitten his tongue, and so my 1-year-old daughter and I watched as he turned blue and was pronounced dead 35 minutes later. And I knew as a writer, I am a photographer also, but my degree's in creative writing. It's always been my first love. I knew I had to make meaning out of the experience, and I knew I had to help other people, and I just dove into every type of therapy, energy work, was open to, if I needed.
I mean, you went through the 6 stages of grief, I'm sure.
Oh, above and beyond.
But the conclusion of all that was that you needed to make this into something positive and put something out.
Right.
Share.
I knew it right away.
Okay.
I was 9 chapters into my first novel. I was a very successfully published photographer.
Oh, okay.
But before he died, but I always wanted to write, so I was actually funding my writing through my photography business. And it was writing, doing baby and children's photography, and coming up with quotes about our wise little souls choosing us to be parents and to teach us the lessons, because they come out so pure.
Right.
And when he died, I really wanted to be writing anyway, and I thought, well, I can either be mad the rest of my life that this happened, because how do you, being 7 months pregnant and watching him drop dead on the floor was unimaginable.
How many kids do you have at the time? I think you have 4 kids, right?
No, I have, at the time, we had a 17-month-old, and I was 7 months pregnant with our second.
Oh my God.
So the beginning of my memoir, which has received a lot of attention just because I put it out there to remind others that, sharing our pain gives others permission to share their pain. And I always think, like, if everyone could just say, I feel insecure, or I have depression, or I have grief, or I tried this medication, it would be more open. It would help the world. I mean, just imagine, if people weren't trying to pretend to be something that they're not.
It just happened with us, because when I first gave my introduction, I screwed up my own name, and you mentioned, you said into my ear, it was really great to see you do that, so that now I feel relaxed, like I can mess up, and it's not
right. No, it's true. And so I, that's a part of my memoir it's forthcoming. I plan to release it October 11th, 2011, which is would have been my late husband's 38th birthday, and it takes you through my entire journey of the sudden death and post-traumatic stress, EMDR, depression, having depression beforehand, having to differentiate, and really making the decision to, which is where this book came from, find the light in my dark time.
Yeah, okay, so that says find the light. Is that, when you're talking to somebody who's in grief, I find that when you're in grief, everybody's telling you, either buck up or time heals all, and it doesn't.
It doesn't.
None of these things makes any sense to people that are in grief.
No, it
and
doesn't.
The more you try to help a person like that, it's just none of these cliches we use work.
They don't.
You've got to grieve as long as it takes you to grieve. But if you did have something you could say, because you've been there, what would be the biggest lesson that you've learned from that?
Well, I've learned many lessons, but I have to say, so this when I put this book, Finding Light, together, they're actually quotes I moderate a widowed forum on Facebook, which has been so profound. It's called Widowed Web, and it's a community page. You can just look it up. It's got a bright blue background, and I've connected with widows and widowers from all around the world at different stages. Some pregnant, some with little kids, and I always tell people, and that's one of the quotes in this book, is only you can navigate these waters, and you have to trust that you're not going in the wrong direction. There's nothing that you can't fix. Each of the steps that you take along the grief path will teach you where to take the next. And these are quotes from my book, because I explain in detail. And, online I have a sense of humor. I also have a mommy's juice page, so I make jokes about needing to drink vodka from having 4 children. So, I share my pain and I share my humor. But my advice is just to know, I probably say the biggest thing holding people back in grief is feeling like their late spouse would not want them to be happy again. So for me, I knew that my late husband, Eric, would not have wanted me to be alone and without love. And I knew he wanted that. I knew he would want that for me. I knew he was upset, energetically felt he was upset that he died, that he left us, and everyone feels abandoned. But people feel like when they're grieving, they feel as if they shouldn't go on, they shouldn't love, they feel guilty about having the love in their life, and they feel like they're dishonoring.
Right. Are there also issues with the family? Okay, in other words, especially if you had a mother-in-law and a father-in-law that you were close to, you moving on and being happy in your life could make them feel uncomfortable. Wow.
I personally went through this experience of, I actually got on 4 online dating sites, and I had 2 babies. I was a 30-year-old widow with 2 babies, and I wrote up a profile on Match.com first and said, I've been to that place of deep love. I know I'll find it again. I had people who judged me. People think that you're done with grief, and it's not the case. You don't really you're not ever completely done with it. You can decide to use it to deepen you and break you open to loving more and not taking things for granted.
So you learn to live with it, essentially, and hopefully in a positive way?
I have been, another quote in my Finding Light book is, those who have witnessed death can be broken up into life. And I met my new husband, who's amazing, and he adopted my babies. We met when they were 2 and 3, and we were very mindful. We went to a family therapist to blend our families. We had, 2 little girls grieving daddy's death, one reenacting on the floor. I had grief. He encouraged me to cry all the time. My new husband.
Good.
He honors my late husband all the time, and my stepson was 8 at the time. He's 13 now, and we mindfully blended our families, knowing dead husband, children's grief, which comes up at every new developmental stage.
Right.
And then we went on to have a new baby, so he's 3 now. And it's just, I don't understand why people are threatened by marrying someone who's been widowed. I always say that widows and widowers are really great catches, because we know I know what it's like to watch my husband drop dead, who I loved very much. And so what I want is for others to let any type of tragedy, not just widowhood or grief, break them open to realizing that life is really precious.
Yeah, I would think
right?
that you would get more appreciation for love.
You do, and it's funny because I often get asked, and I write about all of this. I write for blogs and magazines, and I post excerpts of my memoir, and I write for change. I just want people to know that regardless of their experience, that they can get through it, and they have to believe they'll get through it, and define what they want, and then create it and not settle. Like, I knew if I settled, it would have been dishonoring me, my daughters, and my late husband, Eric, and I couldn't do that. And so, yeah.
Well, there's somebody out there right now looking at this, and they're saying, well, she's speaking to me. Okay, so how can people get hold of you?
Oh, that's sweet. Well, I hope so. That's very nice. You can get a hold of me on my website, which is hylamolander.com, HYLAMOLANDER.com, hylamolander.com.
All right, and some of the other books you have out, or because is it your blogs there? Everything.
My blog is there, which has some excerpts, and I write for the Good Men Project magazine and Marin magazine. I've been featured in Writer's Digest.
And you're a speaker, so if people want to, they can get a hold of you through your site if they speak at their events.
Yes, I love. I hadn't realized that I'd be down this speaking path, and it all happened organically, and it's been really beautiful to be able to share my writing and my message.
What is the message you share in your speaking usually? I'm sure you have more than one, but
I do. Well, I have many different subjects I could speak about, but my main message is, to live your drop dead life. If you were going to drop dead tomorrow, how are you going to live your life today? Like, are you going to tell your wife you love her, your kids? Are you going to deepen your relationships? So my main speeches are, why not now? Quit making excuses.
And that's powerful.
Why not now? Like, do it now, because you don't know if you're going to have tomorrow. And why not you? Because
why not you?
Widowed or not, we all feel like we don't deserve to be that person with just mind-blowing fulfillment and joy in our lives.
And this is not about moving on and forgetting.
No.
This is about honoring.
It is. It's very much about honoring, and we, every night at dinner, my husband brings up my late husband. We always talk about him, and we have pictures. We honor.
What a great guy.
He's amazing. He's incredible. He got on his knees and read little vows to my daughters when we got married.
What's your new husband's name?
My new husband's name is Evan Oliver.
Well,
he's been
say hi to Evan.
Match.com. I met him online. So another thing is, like, people say, I don't want to do that, and
We're giving him props, so you should say his name.
Evan, you rock. You seriously rock. In fact, you have all 4 kids, so I can be here, and he trusts that my message needs to reach people, and so he's unbelievable. He helps. He loves that I loved. He loves that I loved and had that happy marriage, and he loves and honors the fact that I'll always love my late husband. I didn't divorce him or fall out of love. He died.
Right.
And he's very honoring, and he realizes that being widowed for me and having that kind of love makes me love him now with twice the intensity. That, I joke, I always say to him, I tell my friends, yes, Evan, my husband Evan, he snores like a train, but I'm just happy he's breathing. But I'm just saying, like, you don't take things for granted, right? You make the time for each other, and you make the time. We make date nights always every week with 4 kids, which is hard to do, and I make time for the kids. And so, you can take any type of tragedy and have it blow you open to more love in life. And I just
more possibilities.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. All right, so we're with Hyla Molander. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We're at the Rick Frischman. Oh, thank you. Anyway, we're at Rick Frischman's Author 101. I'm with Hyla Molander. Go to hylamolander.com and get more information. She's awesome.
Oh,
she's an awesome rockin' person.
Thank you.
You really need to get a hold of her and have her speak at your event for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Anyway, thank you so much for doing this.
All right, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Bye-bye.